From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning here on LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we will be going over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have in the first part of this recording. Second part, we'll be going over the two paths, the recon where your stimulus is, and the bipartisan, all very easy to understand. And then in the third part of this video, we'll be going over the link issue, when the vote and how the vote works. All incredible details across the board. And breaking news about that big vote you're going to hear later in this video. Wow. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, which heats up with another stimulus check and raise your benefits up a lifetime. And we have breaking news about that out of the economy and a lot of major analysts overseas. And then we turn to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. You are killing it. And we're going to go over all those incredible details. It's a big early morning. The toast is toasted. The butter is buttering. I'm here. You're here. And let's get to Early Mornings LALATE. You're having a beautiful new morning. The sun is starting to rise here in Santa Monica, and it's just a beautiful new early morning. Boy, there is so much breaking news in this recording. The first part of this video, we'll be going over that monthly stimulus check, but you're going to see that the pandemic plus 1 year may get a full pandemic plus 1 year from that House bill because of a breaking development happening here in Los Angeles. Then we cut to the second part of this video where we'll be going over the two paths and why these two paths are so wonderful, giving you an identity for your stimulus and also a protection of a fort around your stimulus. Then the third part of this video, we'll be going over how the voting is so critical, more so than the date of the voting. And then we'll be turning to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up and applies a new benchmark, and the breaking news about that benchmark as well. And then we go over the thousands of dollars of viewers continue to get. This is Early Mornings LALATE, and this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Right at the time of this video is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video, it'll send you right into Overnight's Crypto. And next, I'm back with you with Mornings LALATE. So subscribe, 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. Every time you like, it delivers you some Eggs Benedict. And consider becoming a member. Let's get to the deliciousness of this breakfast morning with analyzing the fourth stimulus checks. Pandemic plus 1 year was one of the real key words that we had talked about a lot on this channel when looking at the House bill. Pandemic plus 1 year. But is there a new wrinkle to this? I'm going to explain the details in just a second. So let's go over the two approaches. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senators, monthly, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000. Senate, monthly, unknown, but word on the street is it's this. OMG, now that's delicious. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. From those Senate Democrats to you per person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months to $8,400. Now, let's go back to this. This is really fascinating. You know, over the last few days, I would always say, well, the pandemic may be considered over by these legislators. Well, here is where the wrinkle is happening this early morning's broadcast for the first time ever. In the last 24 hours, LA County has announced that after 2 weeks of lifting its mask mandate, it is putting back in the mask recommendation. What's at issue? They say the Delta variant is now the dominant strain in LA County, and they're now encouraging LA County residents who are fully vaccinated to wear masks. Well, that may signal that the House plan may actually get all those months. Remember, Pelosi is in California, and San Francisco usually follows LA County's guidelines, or does much the same. Pandemic plus 1 year, well, you may get from that House pandemic plus 1 year. Let's compare that over 6 months to the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Vote in the live chat right now. Which one do you like, House or Senate? And your opinion may be different than it was yesterday early morning. Also tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. 75,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check the Democrats represent. They want to give every stimulus check to everyone who got a third stimulus check under the fourth stimulus package. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats would give you a fourth stimulus check. It would be the same amount of check for everyone. And yes, adult dependents would get a fourth stimulus check. It's not income, so it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly check. It does not come in waves. So if you see the stimulus check at the breakfast bar getting a little bit too much bacon, don't try to wave at the check who's eating my bacon. Hey, check, I see you checking out that bacon. You didn't save any for LALATE? You want some bacon? And the check doesn't wave back at you. Darn greedy check. Save some bacon for LALATE. It's not a rude check. It's just a hungry check. And it's sort of a not very nice check because it's keeping all my bacon as well. For stimulus check would come in the month of July, for the month of July, maybe with a side of bacon, maybe without. And then the month of August, for the month of August. The fourth stimulus check would go to a final vote by July 4th. Leader Schumer has said about 1,000 times, and Speaker Pelosi has said about 1,000 times. And there you go. That is your first of your three parts of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In the second part of this video, we'll be going over the two paths, recon, where your checks are, and bipartisan, which is roads and bridges. Yeah, I don't care about roads and bridges, so don't sell me one. And then the third part of this video, we'll be going over how the vote is more critical than the day of the vote. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. And it's fifth stimulus. It heats up this fall, and it's wonderful. And now we have new breaking news out of economists in Europe and new economic data from Home Starts and American and United Airlines, which suggest your benefits later this year may be much more than we originally thought. Wow, that's coming up in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. That's what we do on this channel, and you have been doing so wonderful. I've been getting emails and DMs and people in the live chat, and I just encourage you to keep on doing the same. Say what you got. And boy, you are getting fortunes. I want you to continue doing it. When we were going into December and we were waiting for second stimulus to pass, it wasn't passing and people needed money during the holidays. And I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000 of this money. For example, Tyrone got his family in Boston $16,000. It's incredible. But if you watched Evenings LA 2 nights ago, it was insane. I told viewers, just like I'm going to tell you right now, jump in the live chat and say if you got any money from this channel. If you got something before and you said it before, say it again, because it inspires viewers. But boy, the revelations have been enormous. Viewers are getting rent upwards far more than the $5,000 I cover in this video. $10,000, $12,000 repeatedly. Their utilities, which we sometimes would have thought was a couple $100, is in the thousands of dollars. And the SNAP is a fortune. So get that pen and paper ready, and we're going to go over all that money right now. Each place has different eligibility, so if you reach out to one and says no, reach out to the next. They also have their own pots of money. We're getting rent utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. And you're going to reach out to 6 different places to get that money. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's wonderful disco moves. They don't know that. They don't want to know it either. They don't even want to visualize it. So don't say those words. And there you go. Congratulations to all the viewers who've been getting this rent, and they've been disproving me. I've been saying rent is about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. You have been getting $8, $9, $10, $11, $12,000 in the last few days. It's just incredible. Keep it up and jump in the live chat if you've got money for rent as well. Thank you for the nice viewer who sent me a message that she got $3,300 in rent as well. And congratulations to Tim and Linda for their money. So the next pile of money is SNAP. And boy, you're killing it. Lynn Glenn got it, Gail got it, and viewers continually get it. One viewer got 6 to 7,000, another viewer got 5. What is SNAP? It's money for your food. Reach out to the Department of Agriculture to get it. It pays a lot. How much? A family of four in Hawaii now gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So for everyone. So go get it. Boy, you're killing it. You're getting all this wonderful money. $15,000 for SNAP for a family of four in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. We're only 10 minutes into the video, but I got more money for you right now, and it's money coming back for your states. One viewer got $5,000 for this. What is it? The federal government has identified states as owing you money due to unemployment error with computer systems. What happened? States had overpaid you unemployment, and due to computer error, they asked you to return the money back to them. Well, the federal government has stepped in and said, nope, that was your money to keep. So where are you getting it? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yes, call up your state and ask them, where's my check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? And there you go. And one of you got $5,000 for this. The final last part of the money is that IRS refund. And you've got it as well. Jump in the live chat. Margaret got it. Cod got it. Michael got it. It's wonderful. Let's go over how much, when, and where, and starting right now. How much? Well, if you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits, you paid $5,000 total taxes to IRS on that 2020 return, of which $4,000 was the portion for taxes. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, and do a transcript search. You'll be shocked what it'll reveal. I mean, stuff you never knew. Some stuff you may not want to know. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. Really, what does Mitch do when he dances the chicken on the dance floor? It will reveal, why does $12 ice cream taste like $1 ice cream? And finally, it will reveal when you're getting back that refund check. Wow, can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your big fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Well, times have changed. And a week ago today, we had a lot of naysayers saying things like, it's not in there. It's just about roads and bridges. There's nothing for you in there. Now everyone knows that there's enormous progressive policies of checks for you. They were always in there, but they were overshadowed by roads and bridges. What's going on? Well, you're going to see in this video where I'm going to show you a series of dates. You're going to say, oh, that was weeks ago. They were doing this quietly. Oh, they were plotting this out. You're going to see these dates where these people give you these indications of when they're doing things. And now you see how this was very well plotted out. Your stimulus was always in a recon, in a reconciliation. But also in the recon was other stuff that made the recon sort of big. And over the last 3 weeks, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, when meeting with the president, said, the recon's a little too big. There's stuff in there that needs to go out. Sort of like a TV show with too many cast members. You got to spin someone off in a spin-off show. So they met the president a week ago on Wednesday and said, time to spin those things off. What got spun off into its own spin-off show? Roads and Bridges. The name of the spin-off? Nash Bridges. With Don Johnson, with that nice car. No, it was called Bipartisan. Roads and Bridges spun off with a Plymouth Barracuda in there. And your stuff stayed where it was. Recon. Stayed where it was in the recon. In fact, the recon suddenly was all progressiveness. By doing this spin-off, you got two wonderful benefits from this starting last week. Number one, you got identity. Number two, you got protection. First, identity. What's the identity issue? You know what it was. Over the last few weeks, people were saying, there's nothing in there for you. It's just roads and bridges. The reason why you were having an identity problem was because the roads and bridges was overwhelming the imagery or the identity of what you had. And now that roads and bridges are in the bipartisan and out of your recon, that suddenly you have an identity. Roads and Bridges was only part of the recon, but now Roads and Bridges is out of the recon and is in the bipartisan. Suddenly, it has so much more identity because now people can see that the recon was always about checks, climate, cares economy, money for seniors. Now, who helped you with the identity? Not just the fact that there was a spinoff taking Roads and Bridges out of there, but the fact that Mitch McConnell in the last 2 days has been coming out and trash talking your recon. Thank you, Mitch, because now people finally understand what's in recon. What does Mitch say? He says it's a Democratic wish list. It's just a lot of checks, socialist checks and welfare checks for people that don't need checks. Well, thank you, Mitch, because now people finally hearing from you that that was always in there. And it wasn't just roads and bridges. All our checks were always in there. What's important to understand is that these items are for stimulus. Checks for you, checks for climate, checks for the EV, checks for seniors, checks for medicine, checks for families, checks for children, checks for welfare reform. Lots of checks were always in there, all progressive, all very progressive, and nothing to do with roads and bridges. And now they have their own identity. What's the second thing that's wonderful news and the big change by having this separated from roads and bridges? That finally, everything being in the recon is now in like a fort, F-O-R-T. It's like a fort of stimulus. Because guess what? The roads and bridges, they're down the road. They're by the river. They're in the next town. They're in the next zip code. And guess what was going on a week ago? A week ago, Jalapal was actually talking about protecting the fort. We never knew what was going on then. Well, I'm going to show you that they were already plotting this out. Jalapal had said over a week ago on that Friday that the president had told her that he thanked her for protecting his progressive policies. And then Brian Schatz said that the White House had told him that the progressive policies are the White House's own priorities. What was going on? Now we know. While you've heard that quote on this channel several times before, we didn't know what it was until the fort was cleared of roads and bridges. Once the fort became only progressive policies, suddenly we realized what Jalapal and the president and the progressives were doing. They were making sure recon was piled chock full nuts of progressive policies, and that those progressive policies were protected in the recon, in the fort recon, away from everything else. Checks for you. Checks for climate, checks for electric vehicles, checks for seniors, medicine for seniors. Also, lots of medicine, medical reform, money for families, money for children, just money and money and more money. Suddenly, your fort of progressive ideals was now protected because the roads and bridges were taken out of it. Wow. Now that's wonderful news. How did we get to that spot? We got to that spot from Jalapal. When Jalapal had written Schumer a letter about 2 weeks ago saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. Now, the letter was signed by 12 House Democrats from among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter a week earlier saying, Mr. President, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. When about 7 days ago, 7 House Democrats wrote the president a letter. Now, these House Democrats are on the House Ways and Means Committee that wrote your third stimulus recon check. And what are they doing now? They say they're writing your fourth stimulus recon check. And to make it even clearer, they say they're going to be writing your fifth stimulus recon check. Notice how I'm saying the word recon? Yes. These are the people on the subcommittee that are solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks in America. That House subcommittee wrote the first stimulus check, the second stimulus check, wrote the third stimulus recon check earlier this year, represent they're doing the fourth stimulus recon now, and that they're doing the fifth stimulus recon this fall for next year. OMG, can we top that? We can top that. As the President of the United States surprised everyone 2 weekends ago by going overseas and getting an international agreement signed into the books. By getting that international agreement signed in the books, he got the pay-fors for recon, which is taxes, corporate taxes, solidified internationally. Remember, bipartisan has nothing to do with taxes. You say the word of taxes around anyone that supports bipartisan, like Chuck, like Mitch McConnell, his hair turns blue. So what did the president do? He did the wonderful thing. He had reached out to countries and said, we have a problem. We're raising our corporate taxes here in America, and I'm worried if I raise the corporate taxes in America, those businesses may move overseas. So I'm reaching out to those countries that have lower taxes overseas and have them raise their corporate taxes. Those countries tentatively said yes, to which the president said, oh, staff, let's go meet those countries in December. Bring them some of Jill's potpourri. And then the staff said, Mr. President, you can bring them potpourri in June. Oh, okay, we'll go meet them now. And then he did it. Biden did it. He went overseas and got those countries to sign that international agreement about corporate taxes internationally, which anchors forced stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line, because now forced stimulus recon, paid for by corporate taxes, is easier to pass because the international corporate tax issues are covered by that international agreement about corporate taxes. It's all about recon, and wow, that is wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the big, massive third part of this recording about forced stimulus, as three people are fighting to protect and have everything in their ability under the Constitution to protect your recon. And one villainess from 2020 that worked sometimes against you is back in 2021 protecting you and slaying everything that Mitch McConnell gives her. Who is this? I have all the surprising details. You're going to be shocked. It is absolutely wonderful as I go over in the third part of this video how the vote is called, which is more important than the day the vote is called. You're going to be able to get forced stimulus if they get it voted in July, which they represent. It's not so much the day, it's how they do it. And that's coming up in the second half of this video. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, or mortgage, or internet, or SNAP, reach out to the volunteers. They embody the Purple Power spirit. If you haven't chatted in the live chat right now, say what you got, whether it's $10 for rent or $5 for SNAP, or a lot more, because it inspires other viewers to try. And if they have tried and they haven't gotten anything, then reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? They're on the community page. Open the description of this video. Go it down in the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Click on that link, news.lalate.com/community. It'll send you to the community page where it has the volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them to help you get that rent, utilities, and SNAP. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with a big shocker of a finale of forced stimulus and fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LA. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I'm really excited for you in this second part of this Forced Stimulus Check update of 2021. Wow, so much exciting new details. We'll be going over the voting process, which is absolutely the most important part of forced stimulus now. You'll see why. And then we'll go over fifth stimulus, which gives you another stimulus check and raise your benefits up a lifetime. And the new economic data came out yesterday, which is huge. And then we cut to that big fifth stimulus check you're going to get as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to be part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay with this video. After this video is over, it'll take you right into Overnight's Crypto when this video is over. And with that, let's get right into fifth stimulus. Boy, so much breaking details. First, there will be a fifth stimulus check. Those Democratic House subcommittee members represent, they will be doing the fifth stimulus recon check. That would be for January 2022. The vote for this would be October, November, or maybe more like November, December-ish, actually. And the legislative path will start in September. Number two, the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration. This is wonderful. This ensures your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus checks go out on time and your normal benefits. Finally, how high will that inflation rate go? Well, You've learned a lot from this channel. You've learned that the new benchmark is inflation, and the new benchmark of inflation is going up. But we had new economic data released yesterday. It all universally said that inflation is going up a lot. Claudia Borio, head of monetary department at Bank of International Settlements, said inflation is going up a lot. Then the new housing starts number came out. Biggest movement in a year and a while, 14.6%. Craig Lazaria said April's performance was truly extraordinary. Then United Airlines announced it's buying 270 planes and hiring 25,000 new union jobs in the next few years, increases staff by nearly 30%. So what's going on? Here's what's going on. Your benefits are going to be raised up a lifetime with a new benchmark, but I want to show you how wonderful that benchmark is. Let's do the calculation of this SSI and SSDI reform that is in fifth stimulus starting right now. First, they'll raise up your benefits. Then they'll apply a new inflationary benchmark. They'll remove the asset limit, remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates. Start right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up one big time. Who's you? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or SSA or casino benefits. Then they'll apply a benchmark. Now, if you watch these videos, you understand that there's going to be a new benchmark. You understand the new benchmark is going to be inflation. You understand inflation's going up. You understand the benchmark is for the next year's rates, benefits to see if it goes up. And you understand that inflation is just growing. And you've learned from me as well that Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, says inflation is going up, but it's hitting its highest spot in December when they apply your benefits. Well, what are we looking for? The number. And we're still waiting to see how high that number is going to go. A lot of Wall Street is saying 10%, currently at 4% is what they're saying. Well, let's do the analysis based upon that number. Your benefits would step up 10%, but not just next year, lifetime. A lifetime, because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if next year the inflation rate is 1%, your benefits will be +1, plus 10%. Wow, now that's wonderful news. That is how they're going to raise your benefits up a lifetime, a lot more than SS 200 would have ever paid from Elizabeth Warren. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away, and you'll be able to have stimulus checks and a nice taco in your hand. They're going to remove the income penalty, which prevents you from working, stay on benefits. And they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you're going to be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear the loss of benefits or be penalized. And there you go. If you're in the live chat and you haven't said what money you've gotten from rent, utilities, or anything, jump in the live chat right now. And if you see people in the live chat that have emojis of a purple hawk next to their name, how are they finding these big monies? 5,000? 10,000, 12,000, they're members. They are members. And when third stimulus passed, I told members and I told viewers that, yeah, you'll get a $14 stimulus check, but we aren't tracking that $14 stimulus check. We're cashing $5,000 to $15,000 checks under third stimulus because there's a lot of money to get under third stimulus that was dedicated for you. That's application based. So consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Members are delivered from me to them daily. A breakdown of all the big monies in the third stimulus for you to apply for and get that money. Also, the big money proposed under fourth stimulus and the big money under fifth stimulus. And there you go. Is there anything more wonderful than that? Yes. The big, massive finale about your fourth stimulus and the link and how the vote will pass. So let's go over something to bring us up to where we are right now on fourth stimulus. Everything has sort of changed because, number one, everyone agrees that there's two paths. They agree there's a recon, and they agree there's a bipartisan. They finally have the identity that all your deliciousness is in the recon and always was in the recon. Your stimulus checks, the climate checks, the money, the checks for the EV, the checks for the children, the checks for the seniors, the checks for the medicine, the checks for school. All that money is in the recon. And they understand that there's two items to pass, and two items are very different. So what's going on? Well, here is what the press secretary said on Monday, that the president intends to sign both pieces of legislation, bipartisan recon, into law. To which Mitch McConnell was very angry. And if you know Mitch McConnell's angry, it means you're winning. Mitch McConnell says, I appreciate the president saying he's willing to deal with the bipartisan separately, but he doesn't control the Congress. Neither do you, Mitch. Mitch McConnell is no longer in control of the Senate. Here's what you need to know, is that if a bill needs to be passed, it has to do two things. It has to pass the House, it has to pass the Senate. Well, actually three things. It has to be signed by the president. But how does a bill get called for a vote in the Senate? One person determines what is called for a vote, if ever. It is the majority leader, Chuck Schumer. Mitch McConnell has zero impact on what is called for a vote, and he hates that. This last 24 hours, Mitch McConnell said, call the vote on the bipartisan right away. No, Chuck Schumer's not going to do that. More about what Chuck's going to do in a second. Who calls the vote and determines what's getting called for a vote in the House of Representatives? One person, Nancy Pelosi. So here's what you need to know going into the new morning. The bill, the recon, will start on the Senate side and go to the House. Everyone agrees with that. The bipartisan will start in the Senate and go to the House as well. Everyone agrees with that as well. But what do you think is going to get called for a vote first in the Senate by Chuck Schumer? Do you think Chuck is going to call Mitch's stuff for a vote? Of course not. Chuck Schumer is going to call the recon for a vote first because the recon is Chuck Schumer's stuff. He's not going to call Mitch McConnell's bipartisan roads and bridges first so that the recon can fall by the side of the road. Of course not. Now, as if that's not any more obvious, well, guess what the villainess of 2020 said in the last 24 hours? The villainess of 2020, now the hero of 2021, said, don't try to play that game with me in the House of Representatives, because you have to pass the recon first in the Senate, and pass it with the bipartisan and send them both to me. Because if you only send me bipartisan, I am sending you to the cauldron with the dragons. She sort of didn't say dragons, but she said sort of something like that. Ironically, the Temple of Doom is sending Mitch to the Temple of Doom, or to the back patio where they have the barbecue for stuff to grill. This is what the Temple of Doom said. Suddenly you're hero. This is actually her quote. I'm not paraphrasing. There ain't gonna be no bipartisan bill unless we have our recon. And as I said, there won't be a bipartisan bill unless we have our recon. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan bill unless we have our recon bill passed by the United States Senate. There you go. Suddenly your villainess is your hero. She's saying it very loud and clear that while Chuck is going to take care of you, he ain't going to throw you by the side of the wayside. She's making it very adamant, basically sort of a thin veiled threat on the senators. Don't try to send me a just bipartisan, because you will be sent to the burning cauldron in the kitchen, and you will never be called for a vote on the House floor. It's wonderful. Who would have known this would happen? Who would have known this would have happened? That and the Delta variant with the mask. It's just just one of these weeks of surprises. And then someone else. We have to end with a major send-off to end this video. Someone else spoke in the last 24 hours. And who was that? Jalapa. But listen carefully to what Jalapal's timeline is when she mentions a date. Yeah, these people have been plotting this out for a while. Jalapal says we, Democrats, have an agenda that we, Democrats, have to accomplish. And linking the two bills, bipartisan and recon, is the only way it's going to get accomplished. Oh boy, then comes the dates. We, the Democrats, did a poll, P-O-L-L, of our members 10 days ago. 10 days ago. This quote is from yesterday, but she did the poll 10 days ago. Oh, okay. And the overwhelming majority of that poll 10 days ago of our caucus, Democrat caucus, is they're not going to vote for the bipartisan without the recon. They've been plotting this all along. Darn them. Here we are, wondering why they're saying they're protecting the recon. We're calling the recon in, and I have your back on the recon and the wonderfulness of the recon. They've been plotting this for day after day after day. They polled their vote, the caucus 10 days ago, and said, nope, you are passing the recon first, and then you can do bipartisan. And that's why Mitch McConnell's so angry. He realizes these Democrats have been preparing this for weeks. And suddenly, now everything is beautiful. Number one, your stimulus has always been in the recon. It's always been there, but it lost identity because everyone was talking about roads and bridges. Now that your recon has the roads and bridges separated from it, people can understand how wonderful the recon is for you. And suddenly, now people understand that roads and bridges are somewhere else, and all your deliciousness is in the recon. Second, everyone understands there's two paths. And finally, now we understand that what's important is not so much what day in July they vote on the recon. It's how they vote on the recon. You want the vote to go first, and you don't want to focus on the day because if they get it done and the time frame they say they can still get those stimulus checks in out in the month of July. It is not so much what day they vote, but how they vote. And with that, go on social media and push Purple Power. I didn't say Purple Power as much as I would normally do on yesterday's videos. So keep on pushing. I'll be covering more about Purple Power today as well and the big push. But there you go, in a big morning's broadcast that had a lot of details. I don't want you to miss anything across the board, and this was one of those days where there's so much breaking news. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of the channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like the video. Every like helps. It also delivers a piñata. And consider becoming a member so that you get delivered daily from me what's in third stimulus so you can get this big money like other viewers get. Stay with this video. Stay on this video. It'll take you to Overnight's Crypto right after this video is over. Don't go anywhere and just stay here and it'll send you right into Overnight's Crypto. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LA.